Well, good morning, welcome back to the channel, Old Van New Van, and today the new van is in for a service at the wonderful Autohouse Dolby in Sheffield. But that's not the reason for the video today. So the reason for the video today is because this is our courtesy car, an electric ID3. Full disclosure, I have never driven an electric car before, so I go in with an open mind. We'll see how we get on. The only observation I would make, and it's not of just the ID3, a lot of electric cars, is, to my eye, the wheels always look too big for the car. I don't know if it's a rolling resistance thing or what, perhaps people would like to tell me in the comments, but yeah, I just think it looks a bit odd. But there we go, we'll see how we get on. So, first observations, I mean, obviously it's all very futuristic. I do think in the 80s or even the 70s, if somebody has said, one day you'll have a TV screen in your car, people have gone, that's ridiculous, how distracting for the driver would that be? But guess what, in 2023, here we are, with a TV screen. I don't know. So, as I say, I'm not overly familiar with obviously the specs of these things. First observations though are, it's a little bit more placky than I was expecting. I mean, this is, you know, quite rudimentary, basic plastics. This may be, being a courtesy car, this may be a very basic model. I don't know, I'm not familiar with the ID3 model range. But yeah, you've got this sort of very futuristic screens and displays coupled with this sort of very basic scratchy plastic. Okay, let's see how she drives.
No.
I mean, the silence is quite disturbing in a way. Let's put my belt on. Okay, we're driving electric. Our friends are electric. There was a song about that once, wasn't there?
It's very quiet, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, obviously, it's very quiet in the sense of no engine noise. I'm already, even at very low speeds, hearing quite a roar from the tyres. Again, they're quite large, as I mentioned earlier, so I get a bit of road noise.
Woo!
Whoa!
Bit pacey there.
Well, I mean, the pickup from electric cars is one of their features.
That could be quite a good thing.
Of course, I'm in regeneration mode, so when you come off, you don't need to use the brakes at all. I mean, literally, that's no brakes.
Wow.
And that's just come to a standstill, virtually on its own. So you can change your driving style to obviously work with that and hardly ever touch the brakes. So, a couple of minutes in now, just getting a feel for the vehicle. I mean, it feels very planted and secure on the road. The steering wheel's nice, it's quite a nice sort of chunky feel to it. Steering's nice and exact. As I say, I am slightly surprised by the amount of road noise coming from those tyres, but they are quite large, so I suppose that's all part of it. Yeah, I mean the interior's relatively sort of standard VW, sort of entry level Golf sort of territory. It's nothing particularly exciting, but the driving experience itself, yeah, it's okay. Do I immediately want to rush out and buy one yet? Probably not. I struggle. I mean, I know beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and everybody will have different views on this. So my opinion is neither right nor wrong. It is just an opinion. I don't think it's a particularly great looking car. I'll be brutally honest there. I think it looks a bit dumpy, and as I say, I don't think it's helped by the fact that the wheels look a bit big for the actual body itself. But it's comfortable enough. It's certainly a nice drive because of the torque of the electric motor. Obviously, acceleration is quite rapid. But as I say, I'm just a little bit surprised at the level of scratchy plastics in here. You know, I would have thought that for such a futuristic car they could have done a little bit better than that. But there we go. And it's very easy to drive. It's almost like a video game, you know. It's literally just point and press. We've got two forward modes here, D and B. B being the major regeneration, which is amazing because, as I say, you don't need to use the brakes at all. I mean, it literally just stops on its own, and the acceleration from standing is obviously quite impressive. I mean, I don't know the spec of this particular car, obviously being a courtesy car. I would imagine it's the lowest power option of ID3 that you can get, because why wouldn't you? For a courtesy car, you're not going to get the top of the range one. But even this, so let's assume this is the basic one, even this, when you for an ordinary car, that is quite, this is a 40 by the way, so that was just an acceleration from about 10 to about 36 miles an hour. Felt rapid. I mean, not sports car like. It's not unheard of performance, but it certainly feels rapid. I would say, just from experience and judgments, that would sort of be sub 8 seconds, but not sub 6 seconds. It's that sort of territory of, yeah, it's peppy. Obviously, it feels like a sports car compared with my vans, but. I don't know. I can't imagine going into a showroom and looking at this and going, that's the car for me. I must admit, I don't think from a styling point of view it looks amazing. But as I say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Sitting in the back with a seat set for me, I've got plenty of knee room. It does feel a little claustrophobic, I'll be perfectly honest. Just close the door. The roof lining seems to drop down behind my head. So I've got plenty of headroom, don't get me wrong. I'm 6 foot, just a tad over 6 foot. Say, front seat is set for me, got plenty of room. But you're just conscious of the roof lining sort of falling down behind you a bit, just sort of there. But no, it's okay. I mean, obviously, again, in the class of car this is, which is sort of Golf size, you know, none of them are going to be enormous, are they? They're not limos, but yeah, so it's all right. Rear seat again. As I say, looking at the material here, I'm assuming this is sort of bottom of the range ID3, because this is, you know, functional, but not very posh by any stretch of the imagination. But fine, it feels okay, it's reasonably supportive. Yeah, it's all right. So this is one area that I feel all sort of modern hatchbacks seem to fall down on, and that's the height of the boot sill to the ground. I mean, we have a dog who has featured on this channel, and he's 12 years old, and there's no way I would ask him to jump up that high to try and get in the boot. That's what's so great about our van, of course, is that he can just, you know, step in literally through the side loading door. But yeah, incredibly high boot sill. But I suppose if you weren't a dog owner, it would be fine. Reasonable sized boot. Quite a deep drop down there and a lip. But yeah, sort of golf size really, isn't it? And I suppose that's what it is, isn't it? An electric golf. Just some further observations, getting more used to the vehicle. It's a little odd that there are only 2 electric window switches, and to operate the rear ones you have to press that button there, like that, and then these switches power the rear ones. I think if you were driving and trying to do that, that could be a little distracting and a little bit eyes off the road time. Don't think that's the best idea, Volkswagen. I mentioned before this, what I call TV screen, you know what I mean, very large screen, which again, I have to say again, I think is very distracting when you're driving. As a driver, your eyes should be there, not here, wondering what's going on. And the reason why your eyes might be here in normal driving is because even the heater controls are controlled within this screen. I mean, what's wrong with a good old-fashioned dial and knob down here somewhere? I don't really understand the need for it all to be so computerized. I know there are buttons here, but these are even more fiddly to work than trying to figure it out on the screen. And the other thing, interestingly, we were chatting, obviously, as you do when we're driving back, and suddenly this screen said, "I'm sorry, did you ask for something?" You know, again, it's just too much driver distraction, interacting with you while you're driving. I don't know, maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I just think that there's too much going on for the driver to have 100% attention there, where he needs to have, or she needs to have, her eyes and attention. So another thing that's a little odd is this control here, which is obviously your driver modes, neutral, reverse, D and B. So it's only got 2 forward options, D for drive, whereas if you're in that and you come off the accelerator, it just rolls for ages actually. And then B, full regeneration, where it sort of effectively almost brakes. Although interesting, not down to 0. It sort of stops at about 3-4 miles an hour. But there's no customization of that. It's just 2 driver modes. D, no regeneration. B, regeneration, but not controllable. So again, compared to the competition, that might be a little bit backward.